What's up guys? So in this video we're going to be starting a new build series and we're going to be building a North African Roman colony or something along the lines of a North African Roman colony. So think something somewhere like Carthage, somewhere like Timgad, these little examples of Roman cities on the North African coastline. So I guess the plan for this city, I've got this nice area over here which is nicely generated with World Painter. And it's got some nice flat areas. It's got the beaches that extend along the land over there. You've got areas in the mountains that you could use for agriculture. It extends out to the desert, so you've got natural defences, but also potential for trade. And then you've got this big flat area. So I guess the plan is for that is to build a grid system, maybe some agricultural areas up there, and then you can have your water coming up from the top of the hill there. So maybe some cisterns, and then we have an aqueduct that runs down through the city towards the port. And then I guess with the port area, what's nice about this is that we have shallow water, but we also have deeper water where it gets quite deep over there quite quickly. So what we can do with this, we can make some sort of defended port to store our battleships, but also to store our merchant ships. But yeah, pretty good, nicely defended area. So I guess the first thing I wanted to start to do with this build is I wanted to start to plan out the actual city itself. Now, I didn't do this with the last Greek build, which I think was maybe a little bit of a mistake because it just started to grow a bit unplanned. And I guess that was a thing that did happen with those cities, but Roman colonies were very much the opposite. So I guess the thing I'm starting to do here is I'm building around a central forum area, and then I'm having the grids extend out towards the port, towards the fields, and towards the hills. Now I'm doing this out of a mix of different diorite blocks and sandstone to try and mix in with the natural environments. You've got diorite in the hills, but you've also got the sandstone as well in the hills. And then I'm beginning to flatten out this area as well by giving it some grass so I can just better see where my blocks are going. Now what I'm trying to do here as well is I'm trying to make it so there's major roads and then you've got smaller alleyways that go in between them as well. And as we extend down to the port, I wanted to have a difference in levels to make it seem like you go down towards the port. Now there's this really weird lighting glitch that the replay mod likes to make sometimes, so I don't know why that's happening there, but as you can see in the area where we're working, I'm building up some areas with stairs, some areas where I'm raising the ground, where I'm lowering the ground down, and as we come down to the port, I've got the steps that extend down. So we want like long ramps in order for chariots and different logistical vehicles to bring things down towards the port. Now what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to terraform our port area. Now we already have quite a nice port area, but I want to extend out that sandbar a bit and then make a big dig behind it. So we can make a bigger deep water port so we can get our bigger battleships in there. But it also means that we have a larger defended area behind the sea. Now I guess this is important because it protects against enemy ships that are trying to invade, but it also protects against the weather. Now what I'm doing here as well is I'm going to build with some sandstone just a big wharf area. So I guess I'm trying to make it safer for ships to come in here. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, these would have been much bigger in real life. But in Minecraft, we're limited by scale in some ways, and I'm trying to keep this in like a kind of contained scale so it doesn't become massive in a 20-part series, but with just enough space to do something like this. So what you would have seen in Carthage, and the thing that Carthage is most famous for, is the actual dry dock of the triremes that it had. Now I'm not going to be building a huge dry dock of triremes. It would take 5 episodes to build that. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a smaller wet dock or covered dock to host literally the shell or the hull of the ship that we built in the last tutorial video. So this allows us to have this nice covered space that will protect your ship against the weather, but it would also be a safe place where you can maintain your battleship. Now I guess what I'm doing here is I'm just making it look nice with some columns, and then I'm building a very simple timber roof with brick slabs on top of it. I guess this could be a bit lighter. I mean, this looks a little bit fantastical at this scale, but it wouldn't have been too dissimilar in real life, to be honest. I mean, you would have had these wood truss structures on top with then your bricks or your terracotta tiles going on top, but in Minecraft we've got brick slabs, so I guess it kind of works. I'm just decorating some tops of the roofs here to make it look a bit better, and then I'm just repeating this pattern across there so you get 4 different bays for your ships. Now what I wanted to do here is I wanted to start building some trade or customs buildings in the port area. So I guess one of the things that were characteristic of Roman ports is you would have had areas where you would have had shops, so people would have gone and directly traded with merchants that would have come into the city. So this is a place, what I'm thinking of could be a trade hall where basically product is offloaded off of the ships coming into the city, and then on the other side we'll have a marketplace which basically opens up from the back of this building. So you have individual shops with their individual supply points and their individual shop fronts towards the back. We'll do that in the next episode. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to copy this building across to the other side. Now I guess the thing is that you could make it a bit more different, but the Romans loved their uniformity and whatnot. So what I'm doing is I'm just making it look a bit more uniform, and then we'll come back to that in later videos to try and spice it up a little bit. Now I guess what I'm doing here is I'm trying to experiment a bit with the offloading infrastructure of the merchant ships. I got a small merchant ship that we built in a previous tutorial, with then some things that could be loaded off for sale in your port area. Now onto the tour for just quickly what we've done in this video and what I might do for the next video. So we've got a nice port area that's becoming to evolve and coming to emerge out of this area. Now I guess the thing is what I want to do is I want to put some sort of lighthouse down in that corner over there, and then I want to extend this port wharf area out down here perhaps, where it would be less of a military port and merchant port, but more of like a civilian port as such. So we've got a nice deep port area over here, so this will allow the larger triremes to come in and park their ships in those covered port areas. And then what we started to do is we started to plan out the city grid. So I guess we've got this central forum area. I might make this a bit bigger now, seeing how big the port has got. But the idea is that this is going to expand up towards the hills in a less grid-like manner. So it looks like it's more of like a less planned area up there, and then it becomes more planned towards the bottom of the city where it's, you know, the more Roman planned side. But I guess the plan is as well is that we want to have some things that look like they would have been Punic architecture as well. So it doesn't just look like a Roman city. So in these grids you would have remnants of Punic buildings or foundations of Punic buildings which the Romans have built on top of. So I guess that's the plan for that. As over here we've got our customs house. So this is going to be a customs house over here. So I'm not going to make this like a mercantile building, whereas these two over here will be mercantile buildings. And as I've said before, we've got our undercovered ship area, so just going to change the time of day to see a little bit better. As you can see, you've got your undercover ships. And it's got the nice trusses above there. So it's a nice safe place to maintain your ships, but also store them so that if the enemy comes to attack the city, they're not just attacking ships on open water. They are protected in this warehouse. As you can see over here, I've started to build a bit of what could be offloaded off the ships, and as I said before, this is going to be like a shop area or a storage area, with then this area out the front becoming the shop fronts for the larger marketplace or forum related to the port. We've got some merchant ships over here beginning to park up, and then I guess as we come towards the end, I'm going to try and figure out what we do with this building down here. I don't know if I'm going to make this again into another merchant's house. It would make sense if we have like a big square out towards the back there, but it's one of those where you could really change it into maybe like a military barracks. So considering that it's right next to that port area, it could be a military barracks as well. As I said before, I want to build a lighthouse down here on this island over here, so you just have a nice entrance into the city. Maybe we can build like a wall that comes out and blocks it up, and then we'll just continue that wall down the coastline as well. But yeah, guys, really would like to know what you think in the comments of what we should do with this build. I'm thinking we do a mix of different things, like I saw a couple of comments in the previous video saying for a next series that we should do a mix of North African and Roman architecture. So I guess we could do a mix of Punic stuff and Roman stuff to see where the Romans are built on top. Maybe have a bit of Greek stuff in there. But we'd like to know what your thoughts are in the comments. Hope you enjoyed, and until the next one, guys, goodbye.